Hello from Thailand. In my video today, I'm going to share a little bit of my day-to-day life in Thailand. I'm going to show you my home. Hey everyone, hello from Thailand. As I travel around Thailand and I meet people, there are two subjects that I am asked about regularly. The first is, do I have a Thai girlfriend? And the second is, they want to know information about where I live. They want to know about my home. Do I rent? Do I own? Do I have a house? Do I have an apartment? And what are my costs? So in this video, I'm going to address both of those questions. The first question, do I have a Thai girlfriend? The answer is no. The second question is the main focus of this video. I'm going to share a bit of my day-to-day life in Thailand. I'm going to show you my home. I'll show you the outside. I'll give you a tour of the inside. I'll show you my neighborhood and talk about the area where I live. And then I'll also go back and talk a little bit about things about living in my home and my associated costs. So let me start by saying I live in Chiang Mai. I rent a house here. I don't live in the main city of Chiang Mai. I live in the Chiang Mai Province, and I'm outside of the main part of the city by about 15 kilometers or a little over 10 miles. I've lived here for about 7 months, and the village that I live in has a developed subdivision. The subdivision and my home are roughly 20 years old, and I know that by looking at satellite photos. So let me start by just showing you my neighborhood. I'm going to walk down the street and just give you an idea of what it's like in the area around my home. So here I am walking down the main road that kind of connects all of the side streets within the subdivision in the village. This is not a through road, meaning at the end of this road there's a canal and it turns to the right and it's a dead end. And so this is really good in terms of safety and noise because the only people that really drive here are people that live here and deliveries. So I'll fast forward a little bit and I'll get down to where it is my house is. The village has roughly 450 houses. And this is my house. This is the view from the street, and I have a corner lot. I have a sliding gate that I can lock with a padlock. There's a bit of an area to park my car. And then because I have a corner lot, I have a bit of a side yard between my house and the main street. I have a little bit of a front area in front of my house. And then I also have some additional side yard between my house and the house next to me. There I have a banana tree. So let me show you the inside of my house. I'll give you a quick tour here. As I come through the entrance and I turn to my left, this is my main living area. And you can see that this is a nice sized area. I have a couple of couches here, a nice reclining chair, and then I have a table set up for my computer, and I use a TV as a second monitor. Starting back at the entrance, I look straight ahead. That is the master bedroom. There's an attached bathroom with the master bedroom. The bedroom has an air conditioner. Coming back out of that bedroom then, off to my left, is a second bedroom. And this room is completely empty. I've never used this room. And then next to that is my kitchen. Give you a quick view of my kitchen here. And I'll come back and I'll talk a little bit about the kitchen and other parts of my home here in a minute. And then in the kitchen area, there's a back door. And if I open that up, this goes to an area that has been enclosed. This is actually the area between my house and a block fence. And this has been finished off. And in this area, there's another door that leads out to my side yard. Going back through the kitchen and towards the entrance, off to the left here is a second bathroom. And then I'll walk in and I'll show you the shower here. This is the same as the shower in the other bathroom. Both of them have wall-mounted water heaters. So the house doesn't have a central water heater. It has point-of-use water heaters. And then returning to the main area, that completes my little tour of the house. So I'm going to go back and talk about a few things here. First, I'll go back outside. I mentioned that I rent this house. As part of my rent, I am obligated to maintain the yard. That is, keep the grass cut, keep the bushes trimmed, things like that. Rather than hire a service to maintain my lawn, I cut the grass myself. I don't own a lawnmower. When I cut the grass, I use a trimmer. And this is a view of my trimmer. It's cordless, battery operated. And if you want to get an idea of what it's like for me to cut my grass, I'll share a little video clip here with you. And if it seems a little bit strange that I would cut the grass in my yard with a trimmer, it's really not so strange. If I hired a service to come and cut my grass, they might use a lawnmower, but they very likely would use a gas-powered trimmer, especially because of the size of my yard. They can make pretty short work out of it. I rent this house, and it is mostly unfurnished. It did include my bed, a couch, an end table, a shelf, and that mirror unit. That was it. So no tables, no chairs, none of the other furniture that you saw in my front room. No refrigerator, no microwave, nothing in the kitchen. None of the shelving that's in the kitchen. So let me talk a little bit about my kitchen. So in this picture here, you can see that I use shelves for storage. Those did not come with the rental. I picked those up at Home Pro. This is what the kitchen looked like when I first moved in. You'll also notice in my kitchen that there's no oven and there's no stove. And this is very common in Thai homes. So if I'm going to fry something, I actually use a little hot plate. People in Thailand that lived in this home would very likely use a propane burner to cook on, and they might do it in this kitchen area, or they might step through that back door and do it in that area behind the house. I also have an induction plate that I use if I'm going to boil something. I have a microwave, I have an air fryer, and of course I have a hot water kettle. And those are the things that I use when I cook. This did not come with a refrigerator, so I picked up a used refrigerator off of Facebook Marketplace when I moved in. You may have noticed when I showed the inside of my home that there wasn't a washing machine. I don't have a washing machine. It would be possible for me to hook up a washing machine in that area behind my home. There is water and power there, but I have not done that. I wash my clothes by hand, and this is what I use to wash my clothes. I use the black bin to kind of soak the clothes and agitate them in detergent, and then I use the smaller green pan to finish hand washing and rinse, and then I dry using racks. I can move the racks outside, or I can leave them in here, and I have a fan that helps move air around the racks if I'm drying inside. So let me share a little bit about my costs of living in this house. First, my rental amount. I pay 7,500 baht per month in rent. So in US dollars, that's roughly $240 at the current exchange rate. I'm responsible for electricity, for water, and for garbage disposal. My water bill is usually between 170 and 200 baht per month. And that includes a 150 baht common fee that goes to the village. And in US dollars, 200 baht is currently about $6.40. So my monthly water bill has historically been less than $7 per month. My electricity has been between 400 and 800 baht per month, depending really on how much I use the air conditioner. 800 baht at the current exchange rate is a little over $25. So my monthly electric bill has been under $30 per month. And I can tell you that I use my air conditioner. The village is serviced by garbage collection every Saturday morning, once a week. To have my garbage picked up, all I need to do is put my garbage in a plastic sack and set it by the curb. I affix a sticker on each garbage sack to show that I've paid for garbage service. These stickers are 4 baht each, and they're available through the sub-district or Tambon office. So at 4 baht each, this is roughly 13 cents per bag. The total of my rent, electricity, water, and garbage service on a monthly basis is less than 9,000 baht. And in US dollars, that's less than $290 per month. I do not have a wired internet service at my home. It is available in the village. But if I want to connect my PC to the internet, I just hotspot my phone and I use my cell phone plan. I pay a bit more for my cell phone plan to have more data. I pay about 800 baht per month for my cell phone, which is about 26 US dollars. Cell phone plans in Thailand are very inexpensive. I could very easily get a cell phone plan under 400 baht per month, but I opt to have one that has that increased data so that I can also use it for my PC. I have lived in this home for about 7.5 months. When I first moved to Thailand, I lived in Bangkok for over a year, and then I moved to the Chiang Mai Province. When I lived in Bangkok, I rented a condo, and living in the condo was super convenient. I was right next to a mall. I was next to the MRT subway system. I was next to markets. It was very convenient for me. But the proximity of your neighbors and having shared walls with people on the sides of you and the noise and the disruption that goes on in the condo was a bit more than I could really take. Plus, I like to play guitar. And living in a condo and playing a guitar to yourself, yeah, that's not a good combination. You don't want to upset the neighbors because they can hear you playing. So I really looked to find a house. I initially had a little bit of difficulty finding a house, but I ultimately figured out that the trick to finding a house is to find a good agent. And I found a really good agent in Chiang Mai. I found an agent through Facebook Marketplace through one of their listings. I inquired about a home, and they were really good about following up with me in terms of what my budget was and what I was looking for, and they helped me find this home. Living in my house is not as convenient as it was living in the condo. But in terms of a sense of privacy and not having immediate neighbors, there is just no comparison between living in this house and living in the condo. This is a much better option for me, and I'm really comfortable living here. So that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to share with you my home and a little bit of my day-to-day life. While I showed pictures of my kitchen area, you may have noticed a couple of things on my shelf. And the first is this. Yeah, I have a mortar and pestle, and I use them. I use the large one if I'm making somtam, and I use the small one if I need to mash up some garlic and shallots. And then if you noticed a bottle on my top shelf, you may have thought to yourself, oh, he has a bottle of Thai whiskey. No, this is maple syrup. And this is a really good maple syrup. I don't drink alcohol. And that actually might be related to the first question about why it is I don't have a Thai girlfriend. I'm not sure. All right, that's it for this video. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you haven't already done so, please click on the subscribe button and encourage me to post some more videos. All right, see you next time. Thanks for watching.